Mhm.
Hello, 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 hello. Hi, how are you? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is Undying Hope Media. I'm Aluel, and this is my husband, Theil.
TL.
We are here today to talk about another important topic, and the topic is who is responsible for the IDP, refugees, and diaspora in general. But before we dig into that topic, we're going to listen to this beautiful song.
Wonderful.
On the beat.
Thank you, Single
Okay.
D. This is a beautiful song. We love it. We enjoyed it. We enjoy it all the time. Thank you so much for this beautiful thing. Uh, Hello again. Welcome. This is Undying Hope Media. I'm Aluel, and this is my husband, Teal.
TL.
We are back today to talk about a very important topic that is concerning all South Sudanese and a
Yes.
lot of people, actually, a lot of countries.
Y-
It's not only South Sudan, but a lot of countries are facing this challenge. But we decided to talk about it, and the topic is who has the primary responsibility for the support of and care of IDPs, refugees, diaspora in general.
Yes, as my wife just mentioned, this is not only South Sudan, it's a global issue. The world is struggling with refugees and IDPs and diaspora's issues. So we chose today to discuss this, and then we will boil it down to South Sudan. So the talking point, the things that we'll be talking about today is who's responsible? Responsibility. Is it government responsibility? Is it NGOs, international community, or all of the above? So while we're talking, we would know, we will boil it down eventually to South Sudan. Yeah, so we will start with
Sudan.
Sudan.
Hmm.
Yeah, now is an article, and first thing I want to say thank you, Momo, Stephen. Last time you mentioned that it would be nice to have research. to have data. So yes, this time we brought data. So this is an article, assessment of nutrition status for Sudanese children ages of 6 to 59 months, internally displaced person camps in Kosti, White Nile State in Sudan. So that article, I have a link there. You can visit.
Click on it.
But we chose the things that are important for today. We have acute malnutrition, high literacy rate, vaccination, and nutritional supplement. Yes, so that is an issue. Now, this article talk heavily, discuss heavily children malnutrition and the challenges that Shufa face. So now in Kosti, back then it used to be our country. It's still our country, but right now, because becoming two different countries, we become a refugees. So our children there are in refugee camps, and some of them don't have proper nutrition and are not vaccinated and don't even have nutrition supplement, vitamins. So you can see from there, if our children, those are South Sudanese children, for example, that are in Sudan, are in that Kosti, we may have some South Sudanese there. Even the article discusses overall refugees' children. If we do have children there, whose responsibility? Government take a big part in this. Our government need to have policies and ways to help our refugees, especially children, because children are the future of South Sudan. So if we just leave our children for humanitarian agencies to take care of them, while our role, the South Sudan government role, is not there, then we are not thinking right.
And as we all know, that Sudan now is not doing well, and that include a lot of children too. It's not only South Sudanese children, but it's also Sudanese children who are scattered everywhere. And even though the situation is not stable right now, but if we think about it, if we think about the people who are scattered everywhere, especially the South Sudanese that are in Kosti, and I'm sure a lot of Sudanese are scattered everywhere too, and everybody's suffering, and mostly children and women are the one that's suffering the most. So, and this suffer, it include lack of nutrition and lack of getting vaccine for the children. And if those things are not there, that's mean definitely the education will not be part of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's why the question today revolves about who is responsible of these people.
Yeah.
Who's responsible of the children and women that are scattered everywhere in camps? Is the answers goes back, the government is responsible.
Yes.
How is responsible?
Yes, the government, because at the end of the day, they will be called South Sudanese refugees. So the name South Sudan attached to them. So it's government to collaborate and partner and work shoulder to shoulder with the UN, with humanitarian agencies in general, to make sure that our children are well fed, are given vitamins that are needed, and also are vaccinated. Now, how would education, how would a child go to education hungry
Not healthy
and not healthy?
or sick.
So envision the future of that child.
No future.
No future. Exactly. You see? So it is very important that our government not leave that. And this is from us, we are coming from non-profit organization background. So we deal with these issues in a daily basis. So we know there are things that the government can do to protect and help our children so they can grow up and become uh, what we intended, what we hope for them to be, you know. So this article there is important. The second article that we want to talk about here is about Uganda women. So you can see children, you know, in Sudan. That means children in every
Refugee camp.
refugee camp. So we chose them intentionally to project this problem, that we have a problem and that problem need to be addressed. So this article is called Guided Self-Help to Reduce Psychological Distress in South Sudanese Female Refugees in Uganda, a cluster randomized trial. So this article discusses number of factors, but we chose mental health service, a stress management skill, psychological flexibility, and then PTSD.
And actually, this topic, it's why you chose it, because what is happening in South Sudan? Not only South Sudan, but let's focus in South Sudan. I think we are all scattered everywhere. Before the war, after the war stopped, after we got our independence, we still scattered everywhere. All the neighboring countries. Thank you for them that they always welcome us, receive us, and they give us a place to stay. But when you stay somewhere else, it's not like when you stay in your own home. And when you are a refugee, it's not like when you're staying in your own country. These people who are staying in different places, different countries, they're facing a lot of challenges, especially women and the children. And if like the studies, like we are not just talking randomly. We did our research, and we find out what is really going on in these places, especially the places that where a lot of South Sudanese are in. Uganda is one of the places that did the research in what is happening to those women who are in refugee camp with their children. The amount of distress that those women have is high. Because, first of all, as a mother, you're thinking about your child. You're thinking about the place for your child. You're thinking about the place. You're thinking about whether your child can eat. You're thinking about how what will happen if your child gets sick. You know, leave that part of just having the education. The first thing you think about your child health, and then your child well-being, and uh, the nutrition. What is your child going to eat? And I'm sure every mother, the first thing they don't worry about themselves. And when you don't get when you feel like you cannot provide that for your child, then this the amount of distress that you can live in can kill you sometime. Any other disease that can come just randomly can just take you away, because of the amount of distress that you will be living in is high. Sometimes you might end up dying and leave your children behind, the children that you're worried about. So that's why we are here talking today about whose responsibility.
Yeah, and like my wife mentioned, women are the backbone of
The family.
families and communities, and become even more important when they are, for some reason, they had to leave their country. Like in our case, South Sudan leaving to crossing the border to Uganda, to Kenya, to Ethiopia, for safety, and over there they go and face a totally
Challenges.
different challenge. And if women are not well taken care of, their well-being, if they are psychologically distressed, like the article mentioned, then we have big problem. At the end of the day, are South Sudanese. The UN can help, organizations, individuals, group can help. But at the end of the day, they are South Sudanese. And this is our appeal for the government of South Sudan, that don't leave your people scattered everywhere. Those are your seeds, those are your future. Find a way to engage them, find a way to help by working with the government of that country. Maybe work with Uganda and work with Kenya and see what are ways that we can help, work with organizations. So this way, even though they are across the border from South Sudan, they would know, refugees, they would know that you care, you're thinking about them. So this is very important, and my wife and I just hope that this message will go to the government, that the refugees and IDPs are also your responsibility. Don't just leave them out there because they are across the border. They didn't go to refugees camp because willingly. No, something forced them. Like myself, I was displaced before. I was a refugee in Syria. When I left Sudan, I didn't leave because I wanted to leave. It's because of Defy Shabi, Public Defense Force. We were trained to be sent for jihad in South Sudan. And that forced me to have to leave Sudan to Syria and ended up in America. So I can envision the same thing refugees in neighboring countries are grappling with, they're struggling with today, and especially women. So it is a painful experience. If you've never been a refugee, then you don't know what it means. It's not a pleasant experience, and that's what this article and many other articles and experiences talk about: taking care of children, taking care of women. If we can do that, then at least we can see a glimpse of light for the future of South Sudan.
Yeah, and like my husband said, those people who are in refugee camp, they just didn't leave willingly, because nobody really want to leave their home and go somewhere else. Everybody has a reason that made them go, but that's not a reason for us to not uh, do our part as a country, as a government, that make sure that these people are well taken care of. They're not going to live comfortable life, but at least they will have the means so they can get by eventually, and eventually everybody want to come back if things are okay.
Yeah.
And if things are stable, nobody want to stay in the refugee camp. Nobody want to be an IDP in different country. All of us will want to have. That's why we fought so hard.
IDP within South Sudan or a refugee in different countries.
Yeah, and that's why we fought so hard so we can have our own country, and everybody will have a home and a place, actually a place called home. You know, so our government need to do something about all the people who are scattered everywhere in the neighboring countries, the refugees and women and children. If we let the children grow in a way that nobody cares about them, you know, who are going to lead our country? They get dumb, you know, because most of South Sudanese and the children are scattered everywhere. It's not only those refugees. There are people who are somewhere like far from like America, Australia, Canada, even the neighboring countries. Not only the IDP, but we willingly we leave South Sudan and we come and we stay in Uganda and Nairobi and Rwanda and all those places, even though if we had everything that we needed in South Sudan, actually we don't need to leave South Sudan.
It's speaking of Australia and other countries, you see, as you can see, maybe you're following now the trend of our thinking. We started with IDPs and now neighboring countries like Sudan and Uganda. And there's also Australia. You know, this paper talk about intergenerational conflict among South Sudanese in Australia. So people resettled there, you know, so Australia become a home. The same thing like over here in South Sudan and Uganda and Australia is also, they are refugees, even though they are far away. So that's resettlement. That paper talk about South Sudan in Australia, and we know all the things that have been going on there. So we chose to talk about intergenerational conflict, migration versus culturation, family breakdown, parent-child relationship, class of cultural values, role of Christianity, and there are over 30,000 South Sudanese in Australia, and program like parental education program. So let us break this down. Let's break it down. You know, we know when you leave your country and you go to Western world under refugee status resettlement program, you are going to face challenge. Just challenge you and the new culture. Before everything else, you find yourself, wow, there's a clash of cultures within you. And that's what is happening in Australia today. We read in the news that there are a lot of problems happening in Australia, and it's true. And if you read this paper, you will also understand that this is not just between us, South Sudanese. People have written about our problem, you know. So my wife was telling me, I didn't see the video, but she was telling me about a 15 years boys that was
and 12 years
that lost their life, and all the things that are happening in Australia. So again, we are grateful and thankful for the countries that took our people far Western world, and now the Western world is more of individualism type of system, and we here we are collectivism, and sometimes we actually feminism, you know. So what is happening in Australia right now or in Canada or in America. It's a big problem. And those are South Sudanese again. They call them South Sudanese, Australian or Australian South Sudanese. The same thing, South Sudanese American, like my wife and I. You see, so there's always that a country is attached to you. And a lot of these things are not their fault to begin with. It's the system that they found themselves in. You know, some go there without education, without knowledge, without
knowledge.
you know, and ended up family breaking down.
A lot of families are breaking down in those countries in the Western world in general. Starting Australia, Canada, America, and all these due to different culture. You are faced with a lot of different culture. You are faced with a lot of um, with the system that is not. It doesn't look like this where you grew up. You know, everything is kind of like different, and then to be like to fit in that system, it take a while, and if you don't get it right, then that's when you end up losing a lot of things. You might lose your child, you might lose your spouse, you know, and and
Yeah,
I think
thank you, Ajay.
and I think all those people who face challenges, we're not gonna say it's all their fault, but it's lack of the knowledge of what is really going on in the country that you visited, you know, and the freedom that is there, differently from the way we grew up, differently from the way we are raised, differently from the like, let's say, being tough as a parent, you know, and when we go there with our children, everything is different. Everybody has a freedom. A wife has a freedom. A wife has a right. A child has a right. You know. And then when everybody goes there and see all of this, like, oh, I need my right. I have a right.
I have a right.
I have a
Yeah.
freedom to do this and that. You know. ف ف المشاكل اللي احنا بنواجهها برا اصلا جزء كبير ما عندنا يد فوقه.
No.
انت ما عندنا، يعني احنا ما بنلوم الاسره اللي اتفككت كلها،
Mhm.
لانه ده انا ما اعرف اشرحه كيف، لكن اي زول مره في مشاكل و end up losing their family, end up losing their spouses, there's always a reason.
Yeah.
You know, and those reasons, if we were back home, would not they would not happen. You know, we can overcome those reasons and still live as a family and raise up children in the right way. لكن because الحياة بتاعت الويسترن وول ده حياتهم هم، you know. يعني I don't know, my husband can
Yeah.
add something into it.
Yeah, and you can see like the article talk about conflict between spouses and relationship breakdown between parents and children. You see, this is it's reality. My wife and I, we were in America, and we know how difficult it is to try to keep the family together. At the same time, you're going to work or you're going to school, and sometimes if you're not careful and you want to live the life, like for example, let me take example of my wife. She's responsible of cooking and cleaning and all that stuff at home, yet she goes to work to help with paying
Paying
bills.
bills.
You know, she's a human being. She get tired. She can be quiet, but when she is tired, she will speak up. And then men would not like that. You see, so that is a problem. That's a problem in Western world that we are facing. You know, now there was My family, we are blessed that we have understanding. My wife and I, we really work together as a team, and it's just a blessing that we have. We're not different. It's just God gave us ways to navigate challenges of Western world. But it is a big problem. Also, children, that's the hardest one. Children now, they go there and they love the freedom, and they grow up there. And now parents, they try to fix their children. Back home in South Sudan, we used to do this, we don't do this. It will not work.
It doesn't work.
It does not work. So it's a big problem because the environment and the system, you're trying to fight against
The system.
and environment, and it's hard. It is hard. You see. So now it is our government. Again, a government need to work with that country to help communities
Raise their children.
Well. Maybe work with the communities. Maybe have a diaspora office in J1 and in every state in South Sudan. So this way, you have a way of connecting with your community, with your people, with your seeds outside. So do not leave them. Do not leave your citizens to struggle, and then you end up later on, you don't have people that can help build the South Sudan. Those children that are struggling today, among them are leaders. Some of them can be the president of South Sudan or key leader in South Sudan. But they are left there alone with the family to struggle. So I really wanted to encourage South Sudan government. We have over 30,000 South Sudanese in Australia.
Australia alone.
Australia alone. Hello, Nyaling. Thank you, Nyaling.
And actually زمان بيقولوا يعني عندنا while we're growing up is in Africa a child لو الطفل اتمرد there's a chance انه الطفل ده يرجع. لكن برا في western world if a child لو الطفل اتمرد على الفاميلي صعب انه يرجع.
نعم.
ده التشالنج اللي احنا we are facing as parents in diaspora. ده اول حاجه مشكله كبير. ده بيرجع لو الكونتري بتاعنا stable عندنا الفرصة على أساس إحنا نرجع عيالنا.
أيوة
نعم. لأنه عيال دي اللي إحنا محتاجين لهم في جنوب السودان اللي قدام. They are the one that going to be leading this country. وفي منهم اللي اتعلموا وفي يعني ما حصل مرة اللي يقول فرصة على أساس إنه يجوا السودان. يجوا South Sudan because all they hear about South Sudan
حروبات ومجاعات
ما في استقرار ما في كده. فالطفل بيفضل انه هو يكون قاعد هناك. لكن لو في استقرار معناته الناس هترجع يعني الفاميليز ممكن ترجع.
Thank you Garangosh.
Yeah. So the problem that we're facing now is not only the IDPs that are displaced within South Sudan or Sudan. We have also a problem with those who are in Western wall in general. يعني الكلام ده ما موجه لrefugees براو إنه refugees are struggling or IDPs are struggling. حتى إحنا في diaspora we are struggling with our children. We need the government to step in because now we all have embassies everywhere. You know, there's embassies in all those countries. You know, if an embassy is connected to all the communities with all the state that in that country, let's say Australia or America, like that, then all the problem that the communities are facing the embassy اللي هو حكومة بتاع جنوب السودان can help.
أيوة.
Can step in and they can get together with the community so they can do something
Yeah.
for those family who are this, like let's say actually الفاميلي لما يصل مرحلة انه وصل مرحلة it's broke down. الأطفال بتشتتوا.
أيوة.
الأطفال بتشتتوا. And usually those children are remain with their dad, with their moms. You know, there's a part that we can play as mothers, but there's a bigger part that a father can play in a child's life. I remember us growing up, we always get away with things with our mom, but we never get away with something with our dad.
Yeah.
Nothing, not even a single thing that he will not find out, and we will never get away with it.
Yeah.
You know, so the challenges that we're facing in diaspora is really huge.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes the people who are remain back home, they might think that no, we're not doing our part, but actually we are.
Yeah.
We are, but it's so hard.
Yeah, it's a challenge, you know, it's a challenge. It's a big challenge that parents are going through, communities are going through. And our heart go out to all South Sudanese in diaspora. Those that are struggling today in Australia, you know, in US, in Canada, in UK, in the neighboring countries, trying to raise up their children and struggling with the system, and also within themselves, like a husband and wife, and also with children. We understand. Our heart is with you, and our prayers are with you. Keep hope alive. Do not lose hope. We just hope that the government will step up and would work with communities and maybe embassies, if there's embassy in that country, so that we save and we help our people, you know, the South Sudanese, our communities, you know, and that connect us to another version, the US. You see, the United States. This article is transitions of South Sudanese refugees reaching for a better life. Now, there is hopeful expectation, cultural clash, support group, language barrier, and cultural sensitivity. Yes, and formal education and skill acquisition. So we can see, and in America, the same thing in America, and now we are giving people who made it. Right, so we have people who made it in Australia, we have people made it in UK and Canada and America. So that's a good example that sometimes you might be lucky to have support group, and those ones that have support group or church around them, they do well. We notice this in America. Every time most people that are successful in America are the ones that have support group somewhere. And a big failure of our communities are when we are together. It's strange. Something that is very strange. With other communities, Chinese, Arab, Mexican, when they are together, Indian, they are more successful than when they are apart. It's opposite to South Sudanese. So it's something that we need to figure out. Why, when we are together, we fail? And individuals that are far away succeed. You know, so this paper talk about a group of people, I think 12 South Sudanese in Midwest, and there are challenges. Like language barrier is a challenge, you know, education is a challenge, but there are also advantages, you know. لما الناس تطلع, we are like hunters, you know. قد ونكلا يهب, Ogachit kajila yap, ran chila yap, getting as a feeling raja pay tele duka chin lai lan chala nok. Kuba bay buban chuet kajuban. So the same thing. We like hunters. When a hunt goes out, the hope is to come back with a kill, to come and share with the rest. That's us, people went out, is always hoping to bring something back to benefit the country and your community and your family. So, so there's hope, like we said, if you are following, we start with children in Kosti. We went to women in Uganda. And we talk about Australia with challenges and the United States now with a better life. That's an example of the challenges. We need our children to get vaccinated. We need our women to be psychologically flex, so they can raise our children. We need our communities in Australia and other places
to come
together, and not, we don't want our families to break down. We need our family to thrive, and our youth, the youth that are struggling with parents, raising them. Those are future of South Sudan. So government has a role to play in partnering with the countries and working with communities and families. Let's not just focus in South Sudan, and focus in oil and contracts and war and conflicts. Somebody need to
think about those people.
Think about across the border.
Yeah, even though we're talking about all these people, but also we still have people in South Sudan who are struggling.
I hope so. In Anuna,
we have a lot of people in South Sudan who are struggling, actually, that need help from the government also.
Yeah.
And it's challenging. It's challenging that when you live in your own home and you're still struggling, And I think, and that is one of the reasons that a lot of people, when it comes to time to tell them return, that's the next topic.
Yes.
Home. Nobody want to come back home.
Yes, that's the next topic. Returning home versus relocation. Return in complex environments, the case study of South Sudan. So this article talks about a civil war, push factor versus pull factor, humanitarian agencies, safety, well-being, and peace building. We agree South Sudan is still struggling up to now because of civil war. We started well. These two wars set us apart. If you ask somebody right now with the situation in South Sudan, with the fragile economy and some sporadic fights, flooding and famine, all of this. If you ask somebody right now, do you want to go back to South Sudan or you want to relocate? They will choose relocation. Bad enough. Why? Why should South Sudanese choose a relocation over returning home while we have now a country we call home, Republic of South Sudan? That means there's a problem. There's a problem that need to be addressed. So it is very important, very important. This article talk about two things, push factor and pull factor. Push factor, even though the government does not say it, when you make life difficult for your citizen to live in South Sudan, what you are doing that you're not saying is you're pushing them away. And that is bad. Some of them are brilliant people, some of them are talented people, some of them, but you're pushing them away without knowing that those that you're trying to push away could be the people that would help develop our country. So the paper, that article also talk about pull factor, find ways to
Bring
bring the
people home.
people home. There are ways you can do this. One example, maybe give people diaspora a land with a subsidized price, a way of attracting people to come back. Maybe you have a one big place and you let people come, make it not expensive, make it reasonable. Anybody that is working outside the country can afford. Those people will come back. They have a place they can build. That's money coming back to the country. That money can be injected into the system. This is just one example. Or silent the gun. Make sure you work together
to bring peace
and stability. One thing that sometimes I find is strange in a country. Somebody that disagree with you ideologically, it means he knows something that you don't know, or he has something you don't have. It's not against the country. That person is not against the country. You need that person. If you really want to develop South Sudan, we need all South Sudanese
together.
We need all of them, opposition and government, and for us to build this country. Otherwise, we will always be in hostility and conflict, and there will not be development. 20 years
will
pass. The same thing, like 20 years pass already, and we don't see anything tangible. So we need, it just rained and we have these flyers.
It's raining, we have flies. I know you're afraid of flies.
Yeah, we are here, Yes. So
actually, at Nasil, all those people that my husband just mentioned, we all can do something in South Sudan. كل واحد فينا عنده دور ممكن يلعبه في جنوب السودان، لأنه البلد ده كله حق البلد ده كده حقنا.
Yes.
Anybody has a role to play in this country. لأنه كلنا South Sudanese, whether oppositions ولا الناس اللي طلعوا من الكونتري
big tribe, a small tribe,
Yeah. يعني we have a role to play. We have something to offer to South Sudan. Okay? The conflicts that we are living in هسه حاليا, what are they helping us?
None. Destroying our country.
They're not helping us in any way. All these countries also for disagreement. Every country has two parties or three that disagree. But when it comes to fixing the country, and when it comes to what the people need, people agree. People come together.
And we say South Sudan is a democratic country. That's what democracy is about.
Yeah.
Democracy is we are to disagree and still
work together. And that's what we need to learn as South Sudanese. We need to work together. We need to live together. We need to disagree and then have one thing in common, which is the country.
Yes.
And which is the people of the country. We are destroying ourselves. We are destroying ourselves. We are destroying the future of our children. We are not going anywhere. If we don't leave those conflicts aside. For example, if مرة وراجل عندهم مشاكل and they don't resolve their problem, يعني كل طرف شدي والطرف ده شدي وده شدي, ما حنصل لأي حل.
My way or highway.
If I say my way or the highway, معناته إحنا ما حنصل لأي محل. We had to come to an agreement. يعني عشان إحنا نقدر نعيش مع بعض. إذا ما في any agreement between أي اثنين متزوجين, معناته البيت ده ما حيكون بيت أصلا.
بالضبط.
So it's the same thing with this country. If we don't come together and put our hands together and say, we're going to work together for the sake of people of South Sudan,
Yes.
for the sake of our children, for the sake of the people that lost their life for this country, believe me, we can come up with a solution.
Yes.
You know, ما في مشكلة ما عنده حل.
Yeah.
As long as I'm willing to solve problem that we have, and you're willing, then we'll come up with the fair solution for all of us. عشان نقدر نعيش مع بعض. احنا we cannot live like this يا اخوانا.
You know, a country, any country, زي كرسي عنده يعني 4 رجلين, 4 legs. Every country, you have government, you have private sector, you have non-profit organizations, and then you have media. You know, sometimes media, people don't know media is important. You know, if we all work together, all these sectors, 4 of them, ما كرسي انت ممكن تقول لو كرسي ده فيه 3 رجلين ولا you have 3 legs, how are you going to sit on that chair? So you need all of them. You need the government, you need the private sector, you need the non-profit organizations, and you also need media for you to go to be a country. So our appeal today is for the government, work with all humanitarian agencies, with international community, you know, with opposition, for the sake of our country and our people.
And our children.
And our children.
And the generation that are scattered everywhere.
Even the ones that are not born yet. You know, what are we going to tell them? That we got independent and we mess it up?
It's a shame. Or
are we going to hand it to them and say, now we got independent and we fix it, you now build it. You know, so let's, the IDPs are our people, refugees are our people, diasporans are our people, and all of them are important.
Everybody is important.
Everybody is important. And everybody deserves to be treated with dignity and respect.
And everybody deserves to come back home.
Everybody deserves to come back. Make an environment conducive. And this goes to our government. Make the environment conducive to attract your people back, to attract investors, and to work with the countries and communities that house your people. An organization that take care of your people. Work with them.
So people can bring their kids home. And nas bugu tabanin, honey. People have been working in diaspora. And tabanin budget, and everybody want to come back home and retire at home.
Yes.
You know, and it's just because of the situation that we have in South Sudan. يعني لو في peace and stability وجل economy ماشي كويس, I'm sure everybody will come back. You know, all the women who are suffering there, they're losing their children every time. Everybody want to bring their kids back home. Everybody want to rest from all the work that they've been doing out. But make the country peaceful, make the economy works, let's not do pull back.
Pull factor. Let's do pull factor, not push.
Not push
yeah,
factors.
Don't push people.
So we wanted to say thank you for those who are watching and for those who will be watching later. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your comments.
Yeah, thank you, Ajay. Jane, thank you so much for watching. As Anuna, thank you, Nyanuwaj, and thank you all those Nyalin and Noraleo. Thank you,
Shukran Nyalin, long time.
Garangosh, thank you for watching. Deng Mototo, you the man. Thank you, buddy.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you again for those who are watching. Thank you for your time. And I hope we learned from each other today something. And let's spread the word
yeah.
and for everybody. So we need to fight for our children. Thank you so much. We say good night until
Good
good
evening, good
evening, good
morning,
morning,
wherever
wherever
you
you
are.
are. Until next time.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.
On the beat. It's time for South Sudan. It's time for us to shine. We'll rise and stand and fight together through the storm and every weather. Bright stars will shine forever.
Yeah.
Can never dim my lamp. I've been through the roughest
Barcelona
day,
tamam.
toughest time. It's okay. I shine, I shine.
Yeah.
Obele beledi, mutuju gelbi. Till the day I die. Obele beledi, masul fi gelbi. We'll rise and stand and fight together through the storm and every weather. Bright stars will shine
Please, if you turn around. Yeah.